Hello, students. Today we will dive into the chapter New Beginnings, where we'll explore cities and states of the past. After India's first urbanization, the Harappan civilization ended around 2000 BCE, cities were abandoned, and people lived a rural life for about 1000 years. In the first millennium BCE, new cities grew in the Ganga plains, parts of the Indus basin, and other regions, starting India's second urbanization. We know about this period from archaeological excavations, digging up old cities, and ancient texts like late Vedic, Buddhist, and Jain literature. So, what are the Janpadas and Mahajanpadas? Towards the end of the second millennium BCE, people in North India formed groups or clans with shared language and customs, settling in areas called Janpadas, meaning where people set foot. By the 8th or 7th century BCE, some Janpadas merged to form larger states called Mahajanpadas. Let's explore the major Mahajanpadas and their capitals. Each Janpada was led by a Raja, ruler, and tied to a specific territory. Ancient texts list 16 Mahajanpadas, stretching from Gandhar, northwest, to Anga, east, and Ashmaka, central India near the Godavari River. Powerful Mahajanpadas included Magad, Kosala, Vatsa, and Avanti. Their capitals, like Rajagriha and Coimb, were large, fortified cities with moats and narrow gateways for defense. Let us study a few growth factors of the Mahajanpadas. The land was fertile for agriculture. Iron ore in nearby mountains helped make tools and weapons. New trade networks connected regions. Fertile Ganga plains helped Mahajanpadas to grow. Now, we will study some early democratic traditions. Each Janpada had a council called Sabha or Samiti, where elders discussed clan matters. The Raja was expected to follow the council's advice, not rule alone. Some texts say an unfit ruler could be removed by the assembly, though this wasn't a fixed rule. There were two types of governance. Let's explore monarchy first. The Raja was the main authority, supported by ministers and an assembly. He collected taxes, maintained law, built fortifications, and kept an army. His role was passed to his son. Examples include Magad, Kosala, Avanti. The other type of governance included sabhas or samitis. In some, like Vajji and Malla, the sab or samiti had more power, making decisions by discussion or voting, even choosing the Raja. These were called early republics, among the world's first democratic systems. The Janpadas and Mahajanpadas brought big changes to Indian society. There were new schools of thought. The late Vedic, Buddhist, and Jain teachings spread through scholars, monks, and nuns traveling across India or people on pilgrimages. Indian art improved and grew, setting the stage for more growth during later empires. By the late 2nd millennium BCE, iron tools became common, improving farming on a larger scale. Iron made better, lighter, and sharper weapons, swords, spears, arrows, than bronze. Some Mahajanpadas fought wars, though how often or intense is unclear. Wars and alliances led to new kingdoms and empires. Growing trade led to the first use of coins in India. Early coins, called punch-marked coins, were made of silver with symbols stamped on them. Later, coins used copper, gold, and other metals. Each Mahajanpada issued its own coins, but coins were also traded between regions and with other countries. Let's study the Varnajati system. As societies grew complex, they were divided into groups based on jobs or class to organize work. In India, society was organized by two systems, Jati and Varna. The English word caste is used for Jatis, Varnas, or the whole system, depending on scholars. Early on, people could change jobs if needed. For example, farmers could become traders due to drought. This flexibility helped society stay stable. Over time, the system became strict, leading to inequalities and unfair treatment of lower jatis or excluded groups, especially during British rule. The Varna Jati system shaped Indian society but wasn't the only way it was organized. Other systems will be studied later. First, let's explore the Jati system. A group of people with a specific job, like farming, metalwork, or trade, passed down through families. Jatis had their own customs for marriage, rituals, or food. Some jatis split into smaller subjatis with unique traditions. Here are the four Varnas. Brahmins were teachers and priests who spread knowledge and performed rituals. Kshatriyas were warriors who protected society and fought wars. Shudras were artisans, workers, or servants who made goods or served others. Vaishyas were traders, farmers, and businesspeople who created wealth. There were major developments elsewhere in India too. In the first millennium BC, trade, pilgrimage, and military campaigns opened major routes. Uttarpatha connected northwest India to the Ganga plains and eastern India. Dakshinpatha ran from Kaushambi, near Prayagraj, through the Vindhya range to South India. Other roads were linked to ports on the western and eastern coasts, which were busy trade centers. In eastern India, cities like Shishupalgarh, near Bhubaneswar, grew as the capital of Kalinga, with a square layout, strong fortifications, and wide streets. Finally, let's study the southern kingdoms. In South India, cities emerged around 400 BCE, with some evidence of earlier trade. Three southern kingdoms formed: Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyas. South India was rich in precious stones, gold, and spices traded within India and with foreign kingdoms. Ancient Tamil literature mentions these kingdoms and their kings. By 300 to 200 BCE, the entire Indian subcontinent, including the northeast, was connected, with goods, ideas, and culture moving across regions and to Central and Southeast Asia. Around this time, the Mahajanabdas ended, leading to new developments in India. To summarize, here are a few points that you must remember. From the late 2nd millennium BCE, Janpadas formed in north and central India, led by a Raja advised by an assembly of elders. The 16 Mahajanpadas were the first organized states in the 1st millennium BCE, marking India's second urbanization, which spread from the Ganga plains to South India. By 300 BCE, the Mahajanpadas ended, giving way to new developments. A network of roads connected north, south, east, and west, allowing people, goods, ideas, and teachings to travel across the subcontinent. We hope that you have understood the topic. You can now study chapter notes, watch video lectures, and solve MCQ tests of this chapter on Eduref to ensure you score well in your school exams. And that's not all, you also get amazing courses for maths, science, English, Hindi, and much more for class 7. Thank you.